Okay, today we are taking a look at the Alcatel Sonic and the ZTE Unico, and we're comparing these two phones because both of these are more or less the same price, and both of them are LTE phones, so both of them are 4G. Both of them would be activated with either AT&T or T-Mobile, so both of these phones are GSM. Neither of these is going to work with Verizon, and both will use the $45 prepaid card. Now the Alcatel on the left here retails for $179.99. The main specs are a 1.4 gig processor, a 4.6-inch screen, 5 megapixel digital camera with LED flash, and the front-facing camera. The Unico here has similar specs. It's got a 1.2 gig processor. The screen is slightly smaller at 4.5 inches measured diagonally. It too has a 5 megapixel digital camera, LED flash, and front-facing VGA camera. And this one retails for $199.99. Now, about the only thing I can make out on the price is the fact that the ZTE on the right here comes with an 8 gig SD card already pre-installed, while the Alcatel does not have an SD card pre-installed, so you'll have to get one of them if you use that. Both of these phones have Android 4.1, and as you can see, the user interface is more or less the same. The Alcatel has slightly bigger icons, as you can see, and it also comes with 2 extra little apps that the Unico does not have. You get an LED flashlight, which is no big deal because those are a dime a dozen on the Play Store, so you can easily download one on the Unico. But the Alcatel also comes with an FM radio, which you cannot download because that's built-in hardware, which the ZTE does not have. So that can come in handy in an emergency situation where you don't have a cell phone signal. This one here will still allow you to use the radio if you have to. Another noticeable difference is on the keyboard on both of these phones. The Alcatel has larger letter icons, as you can see. It also comes with swipe already installed. I don't know if you can download that or not. I imagine you can. I don't personally use it, but the ZTE does not come with that. But I do like that the Alcatel has much larger keys, so I find it to be much easier to text on this phone. And as you can see, there's a noticeable size difference between them. Other than that, both phones, as I said, same Android version, so both come with Google Play, YouTube, Google Maps, Google Chrome, all that good stuff. So in terms of the base Android stuff, they're both essentially the same. Now, one thing I have noticed between these phones is that the Alcatel here has much better resolution, I think, and of course that's because the screen is a little bit larger, but I also find it to be brighter and a little bit crisper than on the Unico phone. And another difference is that the sound quality on the Alcatel is way better than on the ZTE phone. As you can see, the speaker is here on the top, and the speaker opening is fairly large for a phone like this, where on the ZTE phone the speaker opening is kind of small and it's at the bottom. So it just doesn't sound anywhere near as good as the Alcatel phone. Now, as far as the design on these phones, are both more or less the same. Everything is pretty much in the same location. Both of these phones have the capacitive touch buttons at the bottom, so they're flush on the screen, as you can see. So they're the touch type buttons. Both of them have the 3-button layout, and they're both backlit. Now on the ZTE phone, it has a nifty little light sensor, so it can actually detect darkness, so it'll know when to light up the buttons and when not to, so that'll save you a little bit of battery, where this one does not have that sensor. So it just lights up whenever you touch it. And again, on the layout, both of these are basically the same. As you can see, the headphone jacks are in the same location, the power buttons are in the same location, and the volume is on the same location. The only difference is the charge port, where the ZTE, it's on the left, and the Alcaltel is on the right. Now for the dimensions, as I've mentioned, the Alcatel has a 4.6-inch screen, whereas the ZTE only has I say only, though it's not much difference, but it does have a 4.5-inch screen. So obviously the Alcatel is going to be a little bit bigger. Now as far as the measurements go, they are both about 5.25 inches tall, so about 5¼ inches tall. On the width, that's the main difference between these. The Alcatel is 2.75 inches, whereas the Unico, the ZTE here, is 2.5 inches. Both of them are pretty much the same thickness, about 0.4 or so. And the weight, the Alcatel weighs about 5½ ounces, whereas the ZTE here weighs right about 5 ounces. So I think that about wraps it up on these phones. If you're looking at these and considering which one to buy, I would definitely go with the Alcatel phone, because it's got what I think are better specs, or obviously on paper it's got better specs, but it's also got the FM radio, which is nice to have. The screen, I think, looks nicer. The sound quality is better, and pretty much everything else is the same on these. Other than the items that I mentioned. Both of them will be activated with the same carriers. Both of them use the same $45 card. And of course, the Alcatel is $20 cheaper, though you don't get the SD card.